welcome.
And welcome to VFX and Chill, our live weekly talk show where Seth and I talk about stuff and things.
And boy, do we have things today. In fact, one specific stuff and thing. No, Hashi is not. We're not psyching you all out. I feel like people are going to leave. They're going to think that.
What? No. I'm the real.
It's incredible. Big reveal. Captain Dissolution was actually Hashi all along. Not true. We're adding to his canon. Please, good God, we want you to welcome to the show. Hashi, will you do the honors? Introduce our friend.
All right. Please welcome the man behind the captain, supporting him and doing all of his work, Alan.
Hi, guys. It's great to be here. I'm so excited. The captain asked me to tell you that he's had a glimpse of your work, and he hopes that you continue to improve, and he looks forward to what you have in store for us. But he also told me to tell you, as myself, that I'm just a big simp of both of you, and I love everything you do, and I look up to you, and I love you, and I'm in love with both of you. So I'm just passing on what he asked me to say. Sorry.
Well, that's all the time we have. Oh my gosh. I was going to attempt, I actually don't know your last name, Melekjanian?
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's Melekjanian.
Melekjanian. I would have.
That D trips everybody up.
Yes.
It always
All
does.
right.
Yeah, like my name has a Z in it that trips people up for no reason.
Wait, where's that voice coming from?
It's Michael in the sky. I love the screen because it makes you the most important person.
Intimidating.
Oh!
Captain, you're looking great. I didn't know you were going to be here. That hair really works for you.
Oh my gosh.
I really do want like the version of like the opening of The Dark Knight where it's a bunch of Batmans wearing like hockey pads and things and it's a bunch of people wearing Snapcam filters of your face.
It's a low angle. Yeah, it's almost carrying my half face in the hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
The filter, that's going to put me out of business. If anybody can have a Captain D face on, that's going to be a problem. Actually, I was thinking about, people ask me about like deep fake things and to do a video on that, but I'm wondering, because I haven't tried that myself, if I assume that would be difficult with the silver and stuff to train the algorithm.
I can never tell. I feel like you would have a uniquely like high volume of sampleable images and expressions, so I think that it would be able to extract that unless
it would
tripped
do
up the facial recognition.
Yeah, I wonder if the design and or it would work, but maybe the reflectivity would show a lot of the glitches or something. It's not a challenge to anyone out there.
That black line would also hinder.
Yeah, that's true, because it changes from time to time. The captain, behind the scenes captain secrets. The line is actually not consistent. I know you didn't know that.
Well,
I actually did check in the early days. I would like pause it and like have the videos up and I would check. So
Michael has printed photos of your face. He has printed photos of your face all over his office with like yarn.
All right, well, guys,
stretching
I have to go ahead and finish this up. It's been nice, thank you.
Send us your mailing address for you.
No. We'll kick Michael out. It'll just be us. Don't worry, he's the weird one.
It's cool. Listen, as a YouTube celebrity, you just have to get used to things like this.
Tell it you're with the right crowd here.
So it is no secret that a big fan of and have eventually become quite an expert at explaining visual effects to people. Like it's like a science communicator, but you're a visual effects communicator, both the channel Captain Disillusion overall and you through just your fandom of many of the same movies that the two of us probably grew up with. Big Zemeckis fan from what we can extract, Flight of the Navigator stan, and
yes, absolutely. I actually like that term. I never really thought about the term visual effects communicator or the art of visual effects, because like science communicators on YouTube, I kind of know a bit of this and that about effects, but I don't have
Kind of.
really high-end experience and stuff, but at the same time I'm just kind of like a fan of it who dabbles in it my whole life.
Just
and
kind of
basically-
like a fan. Sorry, I'm just
Well,
repeating.
yeah.
You're just kind of like a fan, whereas I literally just watched like an hour long the Flight of the Navigator thing that you did that I had missed. I had somehow completely missed the Flight of the Navigator video until yesterday. I'm being totally honest with you, so that you'll know this is completely genuine. I cried, dude. It's so good. And I'm not
awesome.
even like Flight of the Navigator wasn't even a movie like that was actually very prominent in my childhood. I cried because it was like, I think, you know, I don't want to speak for Hashi, but I think I can speak for Hashi. Like the two of us are wired similarly to you in this. I feel like to you in this way based on your work, in that like we like express love through teaching sometimes by accident, or by like, if we really are obsessed with something and love something, like it is like within our veins to figure out the most entertaining way to share it with others and communicate it to others. And that video is just like, so like, this is going to sound so gross, but it's just like so seeping with love. Like it's just so unbelievably gushy with love. It's like, I loved it so much, man. It's so good.
Thank you. That's really, really nice to hear. I was kind of going for that. I mean, I was always a fan of the movie. It was like a movie for me that like kind of, so it was like one of those things. But when I knew things about it here and there, and I would always research about it. Actually, years ago, like got in contact with some effects artists that worked on it, and like just like interrogated him for a bunch of stories. But then kind of most of the stuff that I have in that video, I kind of just learned while making the video. So there's no substitute really for learning about something other than like actually trying to teach other people about it. So it was the same for me. Like I'm glad that the video has that effect on some people, because I was experiencing that as I was trying to make it. So it's kind of like, and I don't want to say difficult to work on, but like it was like an emotional experience, I guess.
No, I understand. I love that. I'm the same way in that I learn 90% of what I learn from having to teach it to somebody else, whether it be like in like actual classes I teach or in like tutorials and such. Like half the stuff I'm teaching in a tutorial I didn't know how to do until someone asked me to make the tutorial. So it's like, it's such a weird way to go about learning stuff. Oh gosh, I'm blanking. I forgot my question. Talk amongst yourselves. Well, I think.
Yeah, the tutorial thing. I mean, that's kind of like you develop almost an instinct. Like when you learn a new thing from a tutorial, you're like, I could make a great tutorial about this.
Yeah.
Like, I could teach this in a different way, or like in a simpler way, or something. Or I have a new application for this technique I just learned. Let me build a whole tutorial around it.
That sounds like me every time I let my coordinators and superiors know, oh, I figured out this great effect. I'll do a tutorial on it. I figured it out. I get it. Bim, bam, boom. You'll have it at the end of the week. And then 2 months later, when they're asking how it's going, I'm like, I need to explain the history of fractal noise. They won't.
Oh man, that's your thing, Hashi. Hashi, like you go so far, like I feel like you go backward in terms of like you learn something and you're like, okay, I'm going to teach this, but I have to teach everybody why it exists, when it started existing, what all it's used for, and everything behind it. Whereas I'm like, hey, here's something that's in After Effects. I have no idea how it works, but here's a bunch of stuff you can do with it. And then Alan is like here's a 2-hour video about all of it, and also all parallel dimensions related to the effect as well.
Yeah, it's to the other side of Hashi, where it's like, let's begin with the history of the world, and then there were effects. And,
oh man! But as a YouTube creator, I am consistently in just flabbergasted completely by the production levels that your channel puts out.
How do you do it, man?
Insulting to YouTubers and to like major houses releasing
insulting to like Discovery shows. Yeah, like I was watching the Navigator one, and it was like Mythbusters level, or Bill Nye Science Guy level. Like how are you doing this?
It's a disease, guys. It's like I do you see if you like track my output, it's like slower and slower and slower while it gets fancier and fancier. And it's just
That's all of
I don't
us.
know why I have an instinct to, I think like maybe it's like a version of imposter syndrome, honestly, because I feel like, well, I did this. Everything that this video contains, I've done. I got to do something more, something different next time. I know I'm just doing the same kind of video, but I got to like put it a little bit notch above on all these different aspects. And so I'm just like making it needlessly, maybe people say needlessly fancier and fancier and take longer and longer time. But I'm glad I don't know. I guess I'm glad it looks sometimes impressive in the end, so I can like hide under the polish of it and be like, I think I did a good job. I think I did an okay job explaining, because it was very like glittery and
Wow.
fun to look
I
at.
mean, it's at least immediately observable. I feel like the first flood of comments is always just people gushing over like, how are these made? Like it's hard to calculate. What is your process like? Trying to collaborate or reach out to people for help with the videos. Is there any technique you've come up with that relieves you of any of the heavy lifting, or does it all filter through you in the end?
Yeah, I mean, for like literally till the last couple of years, thing on my own, like, you know, in filming it, obviously, like, oh, my family helps or whoever. Like, if it's a more elaborate shoot for some reason, or I have guests or something, could get guests like people in the video. We get like a slightly larger crew to film things if it's got to be more filmic. But then in post, it's all just you sit there and you do each thing one at a time. But like in recent couple of years, I've worked with like one other effects artist like remotely. We kind of like tried things out slowly. But I still have a problem like sharing like shots where I'll start. I'm like, I can't just throw this plate at the guy and say like, do the thing. Here's what I imagine. I have to like prep it, or let me key it, let me color correct it, let me line up the elements, and then I before I'm ready to give it to him, it's kind of done. So
you've done it, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still learning to delegate work in that way. But yeah, it's just.
Do you want to just permanently be on the show because you're exactly like me and Hashi? I just feel like that's
let's do it, you
the
guys.
next natural state.
I'll just like, the channel's retired. I'm here now. Let's chill. Let's chill forever.
Right, you heard it
Oh no,
here,
we
folks.
killed him. We killed Captain Disillusion. Sorry, it was not our intent.
You guys have to answer to all of the subscribers. Just if you take care of that, we're good.
There's a couple of questions, speaking of Captain Disillusion, from the chat, wondering where the captain came from originally. Not like in the mythos, but like how did the character come about?
There's the fun story would be to say, oh, I was thinking about this dichotomy between real and fake, and I thought that this borderline between them could be represented in a character. But honestly, it was early days of YouTube, and there was a need to stand out. 2007, so a couple of years after it initially went online. There wasn't a lot of like elaborate things, and I was just fresh out of film school, just like a little wannabe filmmaker looking for what am I going to do with my life, and working as a freelance like editor and like little low-end VFX artist for like music videos and commercials, like erasing boom poles and things. And I was just trying to think of things to do on YouTube, and back then on MySpace, like people used MySpace. There was a website, and it was called MySpace, and then it had a blog like as part of your profile, and I would like try to be funny, write little funny blogs for friends. And one of them I just wrote spontaneously. I saw that this penguin falling through the ice and getting slapped by another penguin video, and I just made up this narrative device to just write a little blog post to explain that it says like some kind of children's show, like sarcastic, like two like looking down on the viewer kind of voice, and I just wrote it as text and just called Captain Disillusion, like the characters. It's just like something I made up randomly. And then when I was messing with YouTube, I was like, this could be a script for an episode, just like it's already written. So what would the guy look like? And I just got a bunch of random stuff around the house. I thought, well, makeup would be interesting if it was silver, but I'm not going to do my whole face. So I'm just going to stop here. But I can't make the line very neat. So I'm going to add.
It was like a budgetary consideration that you just
yeah,
that...
budgetary / laziness / just
almost literally half-assed, half-faced.
Exactly, yeah. And that's it. I just like threw it together, filmed it. My dad did the little camera push on a little dolly or whatever we had, and the
yellow jacket and everything was already part of it too. Like
yeah, I mean you can see that like the first video on my channel is just that video. It was originally on like my personal channel, and then when it seemed to like resonate with people, I just like made it, kind of quickly made. I think I made a couple of videos as just on my own channel, and then I made a channel just for Captain Disillusion and started making these little things. They're very like rudimentary, but they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Like it's not because it's such a brilliant concept. It's just like I just didn't want to change anything. I'm like, we'll just stay the course.
I disagree with you wholeheartedly. I think it is a brilliant concept. The idea of this children's show superhero character who is as I don't know if terrible is the right word, but like awful to people as Captain Disillusion is his intern, and just generally snide is just it's such a great format for doing the debunking stuff. I think it's great. I disagree with you that it's not a good idea.
I actually also on that note, I want to ask you, like, Alan, like, was kind of the smug, like condescending, like, oh, I don't like those words, but those are the closest I can get to like nature, like tone of Captain Disillusion. Did that? I guess you said before that came about in the text, like right off the bat, because you were debunking like something essentially, right?
Yeah, because it was a time. I think that it's different now online, but at the time, and probably Hashi, you could testify to this. Like when you first started making the videos, the Action Movie Kid videos, like it was even then it was like people would look at it and be like, "That's fake. That's not real. Why are you trying to fool me?" But now people don't do that as much. They're like, "Okay, I get it. There's all kinds of things people can do." In fact, but back then it was like either you were like, "That's fake," or you were just buying it, and you're like, "Amazing! How is that kid like walking?"
Or they were like, "Wow, that's incredible! This guy did all of this like with only his computer." Whereas now it's like, "Cool, you made a short film." So
I was going off of like just exaggerating my own reactions. You would be like, "Oh, why is everybody just buying this and not questioning it at all?" But or at the same time, like, why is everybody so up in arms about something that is fake, that is like inconsequential, and kind of like satirizing that? And so I was just like heightening the thing that I saw happening online.
How different is Captain from Alan? Like in terms of like how different is he from you as in personality wise? I'm curious.
Well, yeah, I think it's. Yeah, without like inhibitions, or I just think of like, wouldn't it be funny if you just said the exact wrong thing right now in this conversation, or something, that kind of impulse.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you gave a talk about not being an asshole skeptic, which the chat, by the way, has commented on that they really enjoyed. So it's funny that you personally are not an asshole, but the captain kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, it was like hedging my bets or something, or like because also at that time, like the skeptic movement was like kind of like in bloom, and there was that kind of attitude sometimes in those circles where like it's really smart people and they're knowledgeable and their reasoning is okay in most cases, but also there's like this snideness about it. And I thought, if it's theatrical, sometimes it could be like it could venture into a plausible place. Like if someone's really like, I'm talking about some medical device or something that's really could be harmful, I could like navigate to a place that's more real in being like derisive or insulting to whatever I'm talking about. But if it's if it's harmless, you could be more of a joke. So I guess it's just like setting myself up for success. Like, it was a character. I wasn't insulting you. I was just being in character.
I totally understand that. I like when we made the first time I allowed myself to be in a video back like 5 years ago for Red Giant. Was this like big video was supposed to show off all of our products, and our CEO at the time wanted me to be in it. And I was like, no one wants to look at my dumb face. And the only way I could think of to combat that was to pretend that everyone wanted to look at my dumb face. And it became this like persona that is not me, but is this like pompous kind of like, oh, I'm finally everything's begun because I have arrived kind of mentality. But so I guess that's why I'm psychological.
Overcompensation.
Yeah, overcompensation.
Name of the game.
And
that made me think of, in terms of talking about effects, it's the same thing. I'm always like, you could probably tell I'm like kind of having an inferiority complex about the fact that I've never, done really high-end things. I'm just like a kind of a, the epitome of my VFX work is in the channel, So I am sometimes like, if I'm critiquing the work of others who are clearly more skilled than me, but I still am in explaining something, I have to say, oh, this is not perfect or whatever. It's a little easier to just be like, I'm really going over the top and criticizing it, and it is a joke. Otherwise, it's like, what business do I have, nitpicking someone's work that was really hard to do and stuff. So it's
just easier to do everything as a fictional character. Yeah.
Yes, it comes down to that.
Yeah, I do think that even through the captain's disposition in general,
Captain
the
disposition,
appreciation of the appreciation of the craft really comes through in that it's never insulting to the overall style or skills or things that people are able to do, and in fact, I feel like you celebrate that a lot in your videos. What we're able to accomplish in very small ways, and it's more, the motivation or hypocrisy or laziness. If the point is to fool a bunch of people and separate them from their money, that kind of stinks. Or to convince an increasingly, to feed into an increasingly complicated world of plausibility where facts or opinions are getting blurred. I think it's good work. I love that you are, and I think kind of always have been, aligned with the skeptic community in general. And I hate the word because it makes the term overall makes it sound like I like Stu's. Have you heard Stu's? Yeah. Have you heard Stu's? I think Stu calls it skepticism, which I really like.
Skepticism. Yeah, I like that.
Hey, Stu.
I like that. Stu.
Another hero.
It's wild. Just hit after hit on VFX and Chill, everybody. Stu Mashowitz.
Yeah, Stu just keeps showing up everywhere. Also, Alan, I'm pretty sure you just gave Stu his new text and ringtone, which is you saying "another hero" quietly.
Another hero has arrived. Okay, yeah.
So we're talking about, what do we talk about on the show today? Michael just told me my mic is way louder than the others. Well, I'll put it back here. Listen.
That's just his persona.
It's the character.
Overstepping.
Yeah, maybe I should put my mic like you guys, fancy in frame, to be like a proper YouTuber and streamer.
That's how you do it. To be a YouTuber, it's basically got to be an ASMR video where you have to just be like mouth on the mic.
Though I do, speaking of mics, I shared this with our Slack the other day. I love your breakdown of, what is it, like how to do YouTube good or something like that.
Oh yeah, like there was a talk, my very first live talk I did at this conference called QED. I was really nervous, and I said I'd never done a live talk before, and then I had to do an hour as the first person of the entire conference. And I had a bit in there about little YouTube Actually, I guess I did that again in some other talk, maybe in the
I think
TEDx talk. TEDx. Yeah, I'm just gonna name drop all kinds of cool stuff I've done.
was it
but,
the?
but yeah, it's like little basic things. Like I can get prickly about it, like how people do sound on YouTube and stuff, and just the hierarchy of importance. Like there's so many.
Everyone find that
videos.
bit from the section. It's like 5 minutes of really straightforward advice that most people don't do. And
yeah, because there's so many amazing looking videos, whether it's like straight for YouTube, or like short films and stuff that look amazing, but they just have such bad sound, and it's still a thing. Like I don't know why it's still a thing. You can do.
It's hard. Sounds really hard. I know.
It's hard. But it's like people, I think, don't think about it as much. It's just like falls.
Well, I mean, a lot of these people are visual effects artists, and so they're focused on the visual effects, and the sound, it comes secondary to their thought process because they're just focused on making it look as amazing as possible, forgetting that half of the video is sound.
It's true.
Well, and the other half is pacing, as you said in your talk.
Oh yeah.
Right now, half of the video is Michael. I still can't get over how I laid this screen out to where it's just like the Michael show.
I mean,
if I get up
we
too
need it to
fast,
be like
I'll
a
hit my head.
spotlight in that city that just
Don't hit your head.
protecting
Watch your
his
head.
face.
I keep doing that.
All right, let's get him out of here. Get out of here, Michael.
All right. Well, we do have some questions from the chat.
Okay.
Chat questions.
Well, the chat was wanting us to do some sort of work in After Effects today. Someone else in the chat, though, was saying we should have the captain, or in this case, since we have Alan as the stand-in, debunk some of these Action Movie Kid videos because they can't believe the kid is able to do some of the stuff that they can do. We did already address that earlier.
No, don't. The government has come for James twice. We don't want any more.
Before we
not mention we're leaving the country. This
he's fleeing.
persecution wants to.
I'm on his heels.
But more reasonable questions. Who are all the people on your shirt?
Oh yeah, I got this. Maybe if I stand up, we can see all of them.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of heads. I think it's doctors, like different doctor characters. Some of them are Doctor Who incarnations. There's Doc Brown there. There's, I think, who else? Dr. Hibbert?
Is there a Zoidberg? How are we missing him?
Well, Oh yeah, that's true. That's an oversight. I guess they were like, well, the jars are already from Futurama, so we got to do other. There was some kind of website where they did like a shirt, like a unique shirt a day or something, and like it was a really cool device of like making you buy this once in a lifetime design, and I think I got it on one of those sites years ago. Yes, my clothes is years old. It's okay. It's fine.
Amazing. Does Captain Disillusion sell merchandise or have?
I used to have a little bit of merch, but I was like handling it myself, and I was like, oh, this merch is I need to make new stuff. It's a little bit dated. And I was like kind of hard to do everything because I do everything myself for some reason and don't delegate it to people. So I kind of stopped selling merch, but I'm trying to create a new line of things for years now. But hopefully eventually I'll have some cool merch to share.
How many
yellow tracksuits?
I was about to ask, how many yellow tracksuits do you own?
It's been the same tracksuit the entire time. Although recently,
no joke,
very recently, a fan. It's because I can't get another one of those exact designs. It was some kind of a limited thing. It's what's the brand?
Really?
Yeah. And so that exact design is really hard to find, but a fan found one and actually was really nice and sent it to me, but it's actually like one size below what I normally wear.
Oh no. It's aspirational.
They're working out.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've been trying to get in shape to like in case something goes down, like I have a replacement. But yeah, it's awesome. I do have like a back, and I can wear it. It's fine. But I have a backup. I have one backup just in case. I try to take care of it and like keep it clean, keep it unwrinkled.
Wash it in cold water, hang dry.
That's really
right.
impressive. You've been doing it for a while. It's really impressive that one has remained.
One day it's going to be one of those where it like stays perfect until one day it just falls apart. Like
it's going to dissolve in the video, like while you're filming. It's you're going to see
It's just going to Thanos away.
Exactly.
Just maybe I can time it. Like if I ever decide what's my last video ever, I can like time it around that and just have it happen. Like it goes away, and now it's just me, guys. There's no more hiding.
It's all of me. It's literally me. It's my entire body.
It's that Russian short story. Is it Pushkin's The Jacket or something?
Yeah,
I don't.
That sounds like it would be a Russian story.
It's about like a jacket that symbolizes his whole life, and it slowly is disintegrating, but he's trying to patch it and keep it alive because it's like he's wrapped up his life, defines it by the jacket, which is becoming threadbare. Anyway,
That cuts too close to home. That's too pointed.
Amazing. So, Seth, I interrupted you earlier to.
No, I was trying to be all official, like trying to like transition us into content or something.
Well, before you guys, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just gonna say that.
Please run this show, please.
Before we, I'm used to calling the shots. Before we get all digital with things, I thought maybe we should visit the analog era. Like I have some of these miniatures and props from Flight of the Navigator video.
Hashi and I are just going to step out, and you're taking over because this is everything we want.
100% want to see
like I don't know if I kind of was trying to in the my Flight of the Navigator video, I used
Michael. I'm sorry, Michael. You've linked to that, right? I'm making sure. I'm sure you have, but everybody.
I have linked to it, yes.
God, go watch that video right now. I'm sorry, Alan.
That's okay. I was just gonna say that I was trying to like make things feel like even if I didn't have access to like authentic footage or behind the scenes things, I was trying to find material that would look authentic and feel like you were there or you witnessed the process. And some of it is like fabricated or reconstructed or just me like pretending like, oh, here's like a shot of like a miniature shot or whatever being captured. But I did have some props that are the actual things that were used in the filming. And I didn't want to like...
You have more than the stairs?
Yeah, well, I show in the video one of the actual miniatures that they use of the ship, and I have it right here.
Oh my God!
This is from the best that I could figure out. Probably like collectors of authentic props are like, why is he not using gloves right now? Yeah.
Yeah, really. It's just...
Yeah, you could see it's kind of like it's a little bit damaged and run down. It's been many, many years, but I believe from what I could research helper who like together trying to find all this information. I believe that the most reliable thing I know about this is that it was used for an insert when like a character sees the ship pass by in the rearview mirror of a car. So it's already pre-rigged with these little like holes for. I don't think it shows up on camera. I'm sure it doesn't. Like propped, like hung on, and they're like placed really, really perfectly. Distribute the weight.
And not to be seen on camera, just I guess.
Yeah. Probably
but they're nice strings, Michael. They're nice. I mean, it's
exactly like I did actually replace the ones that it came with because I wasn't sure that it would hold up. They were like white ones. I guess they needed it for that particular lighting situation. But I think that they kind of like marionetted it past the view in the mirror. And but I think it's done from a mold that they used for all the different miniatures because I talked to the motion control photography guy and he has one of the models as well that were used for motion control, which have these little mounts in different places. And his kind of seems identical in size and everything. And you could even tell that there's this slight imperfection in the front that's a little like lopsided to one side. And I think they all have that. So I feel like they were done from the same mold or something like that. But yeah, this is kind of like, it's such a hard shape to like, you can get like approximately close to it, but if you don't using like one official model of it for all the reference, it
Well, it's
starts
what
to
I
get away.
loved. I loved all like the the back of the DVD or whatever, like the various art you showed off and the poster itself of like how it got it all wrong. I love.
I used to be because I'd see like a poster like when
Yeah.
I would go to the movies to see that, and yeah, I don't know, but I could, but at the same time I couldn't draw it accurately either, so it was one of those things. I
If
have
there's anyone that should have that in their possession, my God,
Yes.
those are some of the things I'm most thrilled about.
Where does it sit in your office normally? Where does it live?
Well, I have yet to figure out. I kind of just put it away after filming, but I'm trying to, like all of us, someday I'll set up my office just how I want it, and I'll have it just kind of suspended in a perfect place because it's already rigged up in this way. But yeah, right now it's just kind of put away. I kind
Then
of
you have to design the whole office around it. Like everything has
exactly.
to be.
You got to have a little vista, like a little background for
Yeah,
it.
mine is ET.
Oh, there you go.
Which
Nice.
is right there. Everything is centered around ET.
Oh, perfect.
And
Yeah, I got to get to that level. I got to put it on a shelf at least. Yeah, that's the problem because I can't like put it somewhere. It's just like kind of laying on the ground weirdly. So I got to suspend it in like a cool way from somewhere. But yeah, the other thing I showed in the video is like these step sculptures, which kind of completely blows my mind. Like when you see them in person, it's just like I wouldn't have wanted to have to do this job. And I don't know whoever did it, how they did it, how they planned it out, because like this is only like 1, 2. I took random ones like throughout the sequence.
this is like how
But
you
there
do
are,
it when
like,
it's the
90
only way you know how to do it. That right? It doesn't feel like it's the easiest way to do it. It feels like it's like, well, this is the only skill I have, so I'm going to do it this way. That's what it feels like to me.
It's and like yeah, but before there's another way to do it. You're just like that's how we do it. That's the way. That's the only way you can achieve this effect. What are you gonna do?
I mean, it's a 3D modeled animated set of steps, just stop motion-y instead of computer-y.
And apparently I think I mentioned in the video, they had to just do it over. Like they did that entire thing, but then production was like, actually one more step. We're gonna have one more step. So
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
That's, oh my God.
So those are the pre-steps you have, the first version?
I think these are the final ones
Okay.
because it's the right amount of steps. So eventually they get separated. It's like, let me see. I think this is one of the ones where like it's already one step becomes its own little model, and they have
And they reuse it, right?
yeah, they reuse them because like once it becomes a normal step, you don't need the same ones. But they've got little numbers on the rods that they are stuck on, which like tell you which number it is. But then when it becomes its own step, it's like A, B, C, D. Yeah, it was kind of a mission to organize them. And then when I was trying to recreate it, it's like, how do you have them all accessible all at once and stuff? And there are a couple missing. And tragically, I told this story to my patrons, but I don't think I've ever talked about it with the general audience.
We'll have everybody mail you money.
Okay.
And
The thing is, in my video, in order to animate it, I didn't have like whatever support structure they used to set it up. So I was like, I figured I need to create some kind of 3D print or something in a way that's gonna contain them all in the right configuration. So I designed a thing in a 3D program, in an unnamed 3D program, and then but I don't have any experience 3D printing things, so I turned to actually I worked with a couple of prop YouTubers. Punished Props Academy is these guys that do tutorials, and they made this thing. It's kind of just like a made up. This is also
I wondered who
modeled.
made that when you showed it in the video because it's really cool.
Yeah, you should check out Punished Props channel, and they have a little video showing how they did that with vacuum forming and stuff. It's really cool. And then another channel called 3D Printing Nerd, Joel. He does all this stuff about 3D prints. I asked him if he could print out that support structure, and we actually had to do some back and forth because the measurements weren't right and stuff. But eventually, because we couldn't get the measurements perfect, I was like, this is scary, but I'm going to send you a couple of the pieces, and one of them has like actually 2 rods. It's like a transition piece that goes from like the top mount to when it melts far enough, it kind of has like this handover from one spot to another. And so I sent him that one because that one has to line up perfectly. And he got it, he measured it, he did everything, and when he sent it back, it just never showed up. So like these little two pieces from the sequence and his print just went in the wind. So tragically, yeah. Like I was so upset. It was like a real bummer in the middle, and I was pretty close to finishing the video, but it was like I was literally walking around. We almost tracked down what happened. Like maybe they delivered it to a different place in the neighborhood or something, but we were never able to figure it out. But I did a lot of like dumpster diving in like a 3-block radius all around from where I live, just trying to find them, but it just didn't happen. So unfortunately,
that is heartbreaking.
While celebrating the history of the movie, I destroyed a piece of its history. But that's just, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs, I guess.
I want to ask you, speaking of proximity of home, where do you live? No, one of the things I loved about the video is the locations you went to the locations and shot like those little fun little interstitials at the locations were so good. Hashi will tell you, since Hashi lives in the film E.T., that when I lived in LA for briefly, it was like all my like Google. If I wasn't working or doing familial anything, I was like driving all over town, just taking pictures of random parking lots that were once in Back to the Future or E.T. or such. Do you how do you live close to there, or was there just a trip that you took?
Yeah, no, I live in Florida, so generally that's where all my content originates. But and I knew that they shot the movie here for like a random reason, just for I think just time of year versus budget versus whatever. Like I think it was set in Texas or something at one point in the script, but they shot it here, and I always knew that, and I always knew that there's these locations, and sometimes I'd see them online. But until making this video, I never bothered to it was one of those things I'll do someday. But yeah, for the shoot, we scouted all of these little places, tracked them down, and some of them look the same, some of them, and one of them was like it was the second house that they live in the movie. It was empty. It was for sale. And so when we scouted it, it was like nice and like blank, and it was easy to just shoot in the front yard. But by the time we were ready to shoot, it was purchased by somebody, and they put a bunch of stuff in the front yard, and they had like a big party or something. And okay, this is boring. I don't know why I'm getting into
this. This is what we're here for.
This is why we're here.
It's a waterfront home, and it had rained. Like in Florida, it rains a ton, and so it rained recently when we were going to film, and there was a ginormous puddle right in front of it. I also shot on the ledge on the waterfront part where the ship lands at the end of the movie. So in order to get the shot we wanted, basically my girlfriend who was doing camera, she just had to walk through just backwards into a road, which has a real blind spot.
And you didn't lay your coat down for her to walk across the puddle on?
Hey, that's a hard to come by coat.
And then through a cactus patch, and then through a parade, and then through a minefield. I love how that just escalates.
There's like a real sharp turn right next to that building, and so cars just zip around, and she had to be walking backwards into the street, just marching into the water just for me, because she loves me to get the shot perfectly, and I love her for it.
Right, and
she lived.
She died that day. Okay, good.
We actually, we shot a bunch of takes of it, and I didn't get the shot just right with this drawbridge. But then we left to do the next thing, and then I saw that the drawbridge was going up, so we ran right back. Let's get a version of it with the drawbridge up. And it turned out, and in the shot I was going to connect it with, the drawbridge was up. And luckily that one take kind of matched the angle. I feel like this is too niche, guys.
Is this the one? Is that the same shot where the boat goes by you in the background too?
Yeah, that's that spot. It's like in front of that.
I didn't go back and watch it, but I meant to. That boat was there. That boat was just going by.
Yeah, that boat was there. That was just a lucky. That during that one take, that the only take would have worked. That boat happened to go by, and I was like, I guess that's cool. I mean, maybe it should have not been there to be distracting, but it was kind of cool that happened. But also, the bridge was in the shot, and so that was my only choice. And then I had to ADR my entire words that I'm saying in that shot.
Imagine,
that's
fake. Because really, it's just
you mentioned
the whole time, right? Sorry, Michael.
Well, I mean, the boat wasn't so loud. I mean, I guess it was making noise, but it was just, for some reason, just the mic situation wasn't perfect. Yeah, the water and everything, just the
Oh,
environment.
sorry. I mean,
was kinda
you were making that noise. You would open your mouth and it was
Oh,
just.
yeah.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
just going.
That's
Can't
what I
help
thought.
it when you're near a boat.
Michael, sorry. You were being productive and real.
No, I was just saying that you mentioned that you collaborated with some 3D printing people. Some folks in the chat were asking, are there any dream collaborations for Captain D? And they're saying that they were willing to end the life of a fellow human being to see you work with technology connections.
That power, to wield such power, how would I use it?
They don't say who they would kill. They just say that they would kill to see you work
Okay.
with technology. I don't know who they're.
I just didn't know that was the price. I didn't know that was the
That would
actual.
encourage you to collaborate with a particular individual, but
Sorry,
never mind.
this
That is the
person's
question.
saying they want to kill a person to have me collaborate with someone that they want, or
all I know is they say they would kill to see you work with technology connections.
technology
They would kill.
Yeah, I've heard.
They would kill.
They're going to
Okay.
kill, or they would kill. Like, I just need to know what's going on here.
The actual word was I would. I would kill
Okay.
to see him
How
work.
soon
with
will this
technology.
stream get shut down for inflammatory
Yeah.
language?
Sorry.
Let's find
Sorry.
out. Let's say kill someone.
No, but
Okay.
are there,
And
are
I'll
there
turn
any,
on
like,
WandaVision.
Are there any dream collabs for you?
I guess like
Just
My
besides
thinking
this show,
on-
obviously.
my thinking on that is just like generally is that I've enjoyed collaborating, or just at least just having as a guest in my videos people that are not like professional YouTube people, or like they make a career out of YouTube. I find that, I mean, those are fun to do, and it's like it's usually like, okay, you know, give me this clip of you doing this and I'll do this for you, and then we'll
Yeah,
have
but
these
those
things
people
in our
are
videos.
losers.
Yeah, you know, I can't bring myself down to the level of being in another YouTube video. No, that's fun, and it's like kind of like a standard thing that you do. But I like bringing someone that doesn't do YouTube, or they're from another, you know, line of work, or they're a performer in some other way, or an actor, and having them, you know, like be in a thing and try to make it more of like a little TV show guest appearance rather than we're doing a YouTube collaboration. So I kind of, when I think about collaborating with people, I aim for that. Like, who's just a cool, you know, person to have as a fictitious character in the Captain D universe, or who would it be funny if I, as a character, talk to because they're so straight-laced or something, or they're known for something like very scientific and ordinary, that kind of thing. I like the contrast. So I mean, I guess I don't know what to say about who would I like to collaborate with, but I tend to aim for that. And I guess that sounds bad to say on YouTube with other YouTubers potentially watching me. I do like collaborating with other YouTube channels, but I think of it as a different thing from just having cool guests on.
I tell you, the
doing
one
fun
I
stuff
did
with them.
love, and I still, the Back to the Future, the 3-part Back to the Future one that you did, which is like my favorite thing that's ever been put on YouTube. I don't know if it was I say it was 3-part, maybe it was 2-part.
There was 2 parts about 3 parts. It's very confusing. I should have done 3 parts because there are 3 of them. Why would I do that?
Well, but I loved the one where you and Amy,
Yamato.
yes, what recreated the motion control shots. It was so good. And full disclosure, I show both of those videos. It's like required viewing in my VFX class that I teach, because it's just such a good history of compositing. And not only just the history of compositing, but then the practical application of it in the second part. It's great. And just talking about collabs, I love that one specifically.
I've
Yeah, I
actually
like-
substituted all of my children's online learning with just playlists of Captain Disillusion videos. I think that it's all right in LA County. I'll have to look into that.
I've just been nominated for a Streamy in the educational category.
Finally,
Look at that.
So I'm
Award-winning
practically a
educator.
professor.
Oh, pretty much.
I think, some of the people, the other nominees have like postgraduate degrees. So I'm basically a professor. I'm basically have a doctorate in teaching anything.
Incredible.
Well, you're teaching all my students, so thank you. And Hashi's children. Hey, people are asking what we're going to do today. I don't know. What are we going to do today?
you guys, okay, I'm
It's our
taking
show.
charge.
Yeah, do it.
We're gonna do. No, I don't know.
Well, you've got things on a screen. What's your things on your screen?
Yeah. I have. We were toying around with the idea of talking about metallic looking things. Do I know how to share my screen? I already forgot how to do that.
Oh yeah, Skype probably
Children,
changed it since you.
Okay. I did it. Oh no, I've not done it. Okay, I've done it. I simply, the only thing I have ever on my computer is just the After Effects projects of my videos. So like, some people say it's a mistake to author the entire final version of your entire video as one giant After Effects project, but I say it's fine. So this is the last video that I was doing about this playing with time video. So this is one of those sequences. I don't know. I made a CG version of Captain D of myself for this transition, and I just thought it would be interesting to look at it because the first thing that's on there is a nice optical glow, because I put optical glow on everything now.
Right? Me too.
So
everybody does.
Oh yeah, optical goes on all those things. Yeah.
Yeah, there's basically, I try to do elaborate things. Like I think I used like mirror once for a thing where I was in a weird flying around in weird interdimensional space, but really it's just VHS effect whenever I want to rewind things, and glow to make things look just passable, like with a bunch of weird layers on them. And I think I've used super comp sometimes when I want to get real fancy with the
Let's say real fancy and zooming in on this.
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah. Well, this is I just tried to find something as disturbing as I could to transition.
What are we looking at?
This is I'm sorry. Well, I don't know. If you watch the most recent video on my channel, this is I did a little shot-by-shot breakdown of this interesting video by this effects artist that's called Playing with Time. And it's just this guy doing I guess showing
the water balloon guy, right?
Yeah. He's done a bunch of cool, interesting things. So I thought it would be, sometimes the format of my video is like, let's look at this whole long video with different effects and let's go play by play kind of explanation. So I don't know. I just had this.
Wait.
I don't know if my. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Is that After Effects you're in?
Yeah, I'm in After Effects, and what I do, again, maybe it's misguided, but I go through different stages. I like edit in Avid, just like a normal just cut of my talking and presenting things, and then I grade in DaVinci Resolve, and then I do I use a different app for everything, but in the end it all ends up in After Effects as a sort of onlining process and composite.
You online in After Effects? That's fascinating.
Yeah, I know I regret it every time, but at the same time it's the only way I know how to do things. So what it ends up being is this isn't the entire video as just one comp, and you go into the comp and, just comps within comps within comps forever. And one of the, actually, I'll show you a secret. I'll show you one dirty Captain Disillusion secret that I have to deal with on a regular basis in terms of silver and metallic stuff, which is that as much, I don't have a makeup artist. I don't do this professionally. So much of the time I'm running into these situations where there's just not enough coverage on my face, and there's things like this that happen, and I just basically have to sit there and roto that area and make it like not as skin-like with just a simple little mask. Old school. That's the fascinating world of my VFX.
That is a direct response to commenters is what I feel like an insecurity that builds from people who are like, I'll be funny too and pick apart the video because I'm cool also, like me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Other than this, I really don't know what to show, because I feel like, much like my bloopers of my actual filming, things are not entertaining. They're just more like me trying to do things right and failing half the time.
How much of your time when you're debunking a VFX video goes into creating what would be the plates that they needed to create said videos? Because I feel like you'll show,
Yeah.
if you're untrained and watching the video, they're great explainers, but also I'll watch them and say, why does he have the background plate for that? He wouldn't.
Some
Yes.
some videos are all about that. Like actually, this episode was a lot of that, and actually, this is the one time where I managed to like delegate some work. I work with this guy named his name's Joey Deutsch, and he is a VFX artist. Oh, you know Joey? Okay, well, great.
He works with Ryan Connolly sometimes, doesn't he? Maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So
He's great work.
we've been collaborating on things, and I try to, like, he works so fast. One thing about me is that I'm slow. I'm just slow with everything, and including VFX. So I was like, I'm never gonna finish this video if I don't, if I try myself to recreate these plates. I wish I could just. I wish I remembered like what are the craziest
Joey
ones.
is in the chat, by the way.
So Joey,
Joey's here.
what up, Joey?
Joey, your reputation precedes you, sir. Somebody's talked
he's
you
a
up
real-
to me at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, this whole video is like a testament to the stuff he's done, because I'm trying to think of like what's a part I can show. Well, for instance, the balloon, right? He rotoed the balloon out of the shot, and then let me see if I can see it. I think we just had. What is this? This is nothing. Oh, this. I guess this is not a. This is not a version. Sorry, this should have been prepared a little bit better. I'm sorry.
That's the subtitle of our show.
But yeah, basically, like wherever this entire video. I mean, I'm not gonna try to find it, I guess. But we had like a version of the balloon by itself. He erased the balloon from the plate, like basically recreating things. To answer your question, sometimes a video like this is all about just doing that. It's like most of the work is just like recreating the things that you'll see for 1 second just to show. Or sometimes I cheat. Like here, I just did like little stills of. Oh, actually, this is where I probably have a version of the balloon. I just want to show off the actual. No. Never mind. I'm gonna keep talking while I do.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Um,
I'm gonna say hi to my kid who's watching. And
I wondered if that was your kid.
Hi, James.
Hi.
Hi, James.
Hi, James. I am starstruck to have you in the chat. I've been dissecting the videos starring you for years and trying to figure out how they're done if there's not a tutorial for them. So it's really awesome. I wish someone put me in cool VFX videos.
One day.
You did
it my darn
One
self.
day.
Okay. I'm never gonna find. Oh, okay. This might be it. This might be it, you guys. We have a rotoed balloon.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean it's a little.
Wow, that's some
It's a
good.
little
That's some
difficult to
solid balloon roto there.
Yeah, I mean there's nothing to go on here. It's just.
Let's give Joey notes
Did you
live.
Did you change your theory on how this shot was done based on Joey's comments?
Yeah, that's. I actually did. That's that. Yeah, I forgot about that. There was a part. So, I'm very like reluctant to go back and fix things. So I try to, just like I'll write the thing. I research what I'm gonna say. I write the stuff and I record the segments and the voiceover. And if something happens where I start messing with the footage and figuring it out, and actually doing the visuals, and I realize that, oh man, I see this little thing here. That means this whole thing was done completely differently. I didn't notice this. I didn't. And so I really hate when that happens. But in this case, Joey spotted a thing. I don't remember now what it was. Maybe he can say in the chat. It was like, I think it was to do with, which it wasn't, maybe it wasn't this segment. Oh yeah, it was this segment. Basically, I thought that I thought a sane person doing this effect, which is he punctures the balloon. He holds the balloon at the beginning. He punctures it, and while it falls in slow motion, he punches it while it's like going slower than him. So I thought, well, no one's gonna roto a water splash in front of themselves. So it must be that the balloon is superimposed the entire time. Why would he have it Otherwise, why would he have it like kind of up there, kind of suspended? Like I would be pretending to hold it, but this would already be a superimposed element. So I thought, okay, that's definitely what's happening. And he's just he's just miming everything. And then there's a transition to the punch. But whatever it is that Joey spotted showed clearly that that's not the case. The guy just did it like a brute force way. Like he did shoot a version of himself doing that, and then he shot a version of himself punching it. And I guess, you could see a lot of different little transition parts. Like he kind of morphed his whole body to the other take. It's. I mean, I can't believe that that this guy did it. Ben,
I can. As someone who has decided to just roto it many times, I can understand why that he would.
Yeah, it's like, I guess when you're shooting it, you're like, I have that too. I can roto that. Oh, that little part. Oh, my foot is outside the green screen here. Not a problem. And then like it adds a week to the.
It's become like a brag. I think we talked about this on the show before. Maybe we haven't, about how it's like my DP will be like, "Do you want us to put tennis balls on some C stands?" And I'm like, "No." "You want us to put a green screen up?" Like, "No, I can handle it. I can do it." Like, as if anyone on set is impressed or cares. Like, I'm just like screwing future me over just so I can feel cool on set. The cool guy who doesn't need a green screen. Cool guy Seth.
I don't need references or assistance of any kind. I'm me.
Nothing.
Everyone
get
bow
me my
before.
leather jacket. Exactly.
Speaking of roto and stuff, Sazaji in the chat is wanting to know your opinion on AI-assisted compositing when masking is literally one click and OpenCV can handle the merging. Will that bring more people into the field or just free VFX up for whatever?
What do you guys think? I just feel like these tools are always there. They help, but then they're like, I still got to do that last 10%. And sometimes it turns it into a more annoying task. But I'm sure it's in the end, it's going to be helpful and bring more, be less of a barrier.
I mean, my personal opinion is that a lot of the things that AI is working on is the tedious stuff, like rotoscoping. I don't want to rotoscope. I want to work on getting the lighting and the color and help tell the story. I don't want to do the roto. The roto is not interesting to me. So if the AI can do the roto, great. That lets me focus on being more creative. My personal feeling on it.
That's the idea for sure. If
once AI starts getting creative, then I'm going to be concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, but even then, it's going to require us, like it, just like it currently does. I mean, you look at like Hashi's like depth maps that he's pulling up from geocities.depthmap or whatever it is that you've said it every episode, and I still forget what it is.
I don't even remember what it is now.
But like the amount of work you have to do to it. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I said, by the way, clicked the wrong thing. I was just going to show another one of like Joey triumphs. I mean, you could see it in that little insert, I guess. I don't need to open anything up, where he erased this entire Jenga tower rising. Like we would be seeing a tower here, like covering his entire body, but he's like moving around and stuff.
What?
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. You know, once someone does a task like this, I can just go in there and be like, yeah, I put this little insert window in here, and I'm all done. But yeah, incredible. I think in this, I had to add like a little block for some reason to one of these shots where there was a missing one, because he's not supposed to have taken it out yet or something. Sorry, I don't remember. Let's keep things moving. Let's keep it moving.
No. It's very, very cool. But yeah, like even if you are not a visual effects artist, the thought process behind being able to skeptically or critically look at something to understand what type of information you're being fed is very helpful, I think, for any field. While we're reflecting on stuff, should we talk about things that reflect things? I don't know. I'm out of.
Do you mean like metal?
Yes.
I've been waiting the whole damn episode to just click that button. I'm going to click it one more time. Metal? Metal?
Oh.
Metal?
Oh, I was
all ready.
We're all excited and ready to go.
There it is.
Oh, no, I'm late. Oh, I had my strap.
Okay. Anyway.
All right. So
Hope the audience is awake now.
absolutely. So Alan, was the Flight of the Navigator ship the first time CG was used in a movie?
It was, yeah, the first time CG ever, everything. Computer graphics was invented for Flight of the Navigator. Everyone knows this. No, I believe I wouldn't even necessarily trust the idea that it was the first time someone used reflection mapping, or like some version of that principle was probably used in some film before. But yeah, I feel like that's the first time they like were real ballsy with it, and like we're just like, yeah, it's a reflection. That's the object. Look at it. Look at the reflections. Look at how cool they are. That might have been the first instance in a feature film.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't try it again until episode 1, right? So like there was a flux.
Exactly. Yes. What is that? The new.
Speaking of episode 1 and other Star Warsy things, Stu Mashowitz is wanting you to talk some more about the mirror rig from the Flight of the Navigator video.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that rig, amazing. Oh my god.
That was okay. Yeah, the Shuften shot.
I'm gonna find it and pull it up.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Thank you.
It was so Sammy and I, like the my sort of co-writer and research helper, she found a lot of information about, like, from the time, the visual actual people that did it. And they mentioned this shift and shot stuff, which is like something to do with like mirrors are set up to cover things or bring another part of a set or a miniature like reflected into the right place and shot. But it wasn't really clear. Like, no one really explained. They said they used this kind of technique on various shots in the movie, and they used it in this particular scene. And in fact, there's this documentary about the Joey Kramer, the star of the movie, came out recently about like the troubles in his life and everything. And they talk about the movie, and the producer on the movie talks about the shot and says how they did it, but he kind of doesn't explain it. And I was able to like sit there and stare at it for hours and hours and figure out exactly what they did, which was like this double mirror setup. Like basically all they had to do is you're seeing it there.
It looks like you got it here.
Yeah,
in a second.
They basically had this simple shot where the ship is flying out of the hangar, and it was a forced perspective thing, so it was close to the camera, but it needed to look like it's coming out of that doorway, and they just needed a little bit of in the front to cover up the rod where that was at. So you could like just make a matte painting or something, or you could just like reflect some other part, like maybe they reflected the backside of that building. But I stared at it so much and tried different things and tried recreating it in 3D. And what I realized is that, and there was a single behind the scenes photo of the director, of Randall Kleiser, like looking through the camera, seeing that shot. And I saw that there's a mirror. It's just one of these publicity shots that exists. So I've seen it around, but I never paid attention to the fact that there's a mirror like next to him, just a big mirror. I'm like, why is the mirror there? And there's there's like a piece of glass on the matte box of the camera. So I'm like, is that a mirror? Is that being used as a mirror?
Here's the shot, the final shot right here.
Yep.
And you point out that like you can actually see the rod, right?
Yeah. And when I was a kid and anyone like that was talking about the movie, we just thought, I know there's a giant ship, so maybe it's like on a forklift or whatever. Like it just feels like that's what they would do. But yeah. So I go a little bit in talking in this moment about the whole origin of that technique. But in the end, I realized based on that other photo and some other glimpses of that scene being captured, there are only like 3 pictures of it, and they never really show the rig. They don't show the miniature. But anyway, long story short,
you broke down how the rig works here. You've got this.
Yeah, there's
really.
Yeah, I mean, this is a hypothetical thing. I mean, they had something like there's no images of what that thing looked like, but I think it doesn't matter what the actual rod pushing part was. No. Yeah. But basically, the mirror reflects another mirror, and there's a sort of periscope situation where they were able to get the thing behind the rig, the bare wall, reflected back on top of the rig, and just cover it up that way. But because the light actually bounces off 2 surfaces, it actually like stops down. They had to stop down the rest of the image to kind of even out the exposure. Yeah. And that's how you get it in camera.
Yeah, I love this. Like I love everything about this. So this is the shot. There's the mirror that's over on the side that's actually picking up the two guys over on the side and sending it to the mirror that's obscuring it. Such a good diagram, dude. My gosh.
Thank you. I did it like I built the entire thing like 3 times before I figured out like how to show it. That seems to get the point across.
What luck that you had that image like for that.
Yeah. And it's like I've seen that image for years, but I never like thought about what I'm seeing there, and it was lucky that exists to show that.
I also love the I think it's later the yellow duct tape, the little piece of yellow duct tape for the guy's yellow jumpsuit.
Oh yes.
Reflection in the ship.
Yeah, the cameraman that did the motion control stuff told me about that. And shared. Actually, that was one of the other nice things that I got some of these images. I've never seen the motion control photography. Like that wasn't just ever part of the behind the scenes. But I just by sheer luck we found this guy, just from like a Reddit post or something. At first I thought it was someone that was just pretending like to have worked on the movie. Like what he was saying kind of sounded like too far-fetched. Yeah. And I didn't even really think about the fact that they used miniatures. I thought it was all CG, And then I looked into it and I got in touch with him, and he provided a lot of cool images from the actual filming of the motion control stuff. So a lot of this stuff is based on like his word, like
that's
his
unreal.
explanation.
They did repaint. They paint the thing each.
Yeah, like. Right? I would never think of that. The fact that like that would be an issue. How do you get those mats? Like they would just have to do a shot, and before they detach anything, they just like spray painted it to get the matte pass. I guess that makes sense.
You cover so much history of things that. I mean, I think the VFX community loves and has heard a lot of these, but the VFX School series. And I love that it's. I even though you call it out, I had not realized that it was a pun of a name.
I thought of it after the fact. I don't know.
But yeah, the explainers are so well done, because I think that the behind the scenes, the classic ones that we've seen over the years, that's made at the end of the road for all of those people involved, and they're exhausted, and to drag interviews or things out of them aside from all the press they're doing. Has resulted in a real like lack of great behind the scenes explainers and videos.
And dude, oh my God, I loved you the second. I mean, I loved you already then, but when you said, let's take a quick break to talk about visual effects journalism, I was like, let's do that. Let's take a long break to talk about it. And you showed everything I thought of when you said that. You showed the Rogue Nation Cinefex article, which was the first thing I thought of. You like, oh my God, it's so good. Everybody, if you haven't watched this, go.
I was like, should I do that part? Is it gonna sound too annoying, or am I like, should I use this example or that? But I thought it was a nice, I don't know. Like it felt like it was the right place for it.
It's the right place for it, and like, it's just such an important thing to talk about, because it's so weird. I can't think of like. Maybe because I haven't tried to, but like trying to think about other departments of other people's jobs who like are publicly just being like pretended they don't exist, like publicly, like within actual like marketing for something. Like, I don't know, just to hinge your entire success on like so much of your success. Look at this shot. I'm sorry. That boat just went by right then, and unreal.
It looks weird because I'm doing like a fake. It becomes like a dolly zoom because I'm trying to fix the timing of the move. So it kind of looks like the boat is about to side swipe me or something. It's like becomes bigger, in relation to me.
I didn't even notice that. You're right.
Like at this point, we're starting to like fake push back in.
Amazing.
Anyway, I was just saying, no, it's unreal. Like. I love that you went and talked about this part, because it's I had never seen the Fugitive thing where he's like, dude literally says there's no miniatures, it's a real train track, and you juxtapose it.
I mean, and when I did that, I was wondering, like, that's what I was talking about before. Oh, should I do this? Should I show this? Because I could see that maybe that featurette was like about just the they well, in the marketing
Just the
they didn't
jump or
distinguish,
whatever.
but they were talking about the real train that they exploded. But then they used miniatures in other parts of this scene and like
Yeah.
the adjacent shots. But maybe it's not fair. Like maybe the producer was just talking about that, or he didn't know they used miniatures. But it made for it. It kind of made sense to illustrate the
I mean,
point.
I can understand your reticence. You don't want to anger people in Hollywood because there are rumors that you're making a professional show with Netflix or something, which is the chat has been asking about. Is it true, they say, that Hollywood has Hollywood knocked at your door yet?
Yes, please be on the lookout for my Disney Plus show. You know, I talked about doing a reboot of the series of this film, and they got right on it, and now they're making it, and it's coming out, and I'm definitely directing it. The reboot.
Did you
of
ever
Flight
meet
of the
about it
Nav-
though? Did you ever have a meeting, at least one meeting about it?
No. I mean, this
Oh.
this came out, and
And Bryce Dallas Howard.
you know, I'm not gonna pretend that that's probably why this is happening. I'm sure it's like a coincidence, but I did. I get maybe it's like it's what I thought was a brilliant idea. It's just the normal thing that everyone would think of. Like, what if in this movie it was the girl that's the protagonist? You know, because she had so little screen time, and you know, in the original. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that that's happening. I'm excited. I guess I want to see this.
I'm excited, I guess.
I guess. Yeah. No, well, to be serious, no, not really. Like I've people have asked, like I've gotten one or two calls from like, you know, people like developing content for this production company or other, and it's all like I've chatted with them a bit, but I think that like for some reason maybe it's hard to think of like how does my stuff translate into like a show. Like maybe the VFX cool thing could be.
I think it's already translated into a show, man. Like your
Well, yeah,
stuff
like
is already at that level.
right.
I think
I
that,
guess.
that it's the whole idea that producers need to like who isn't it like David Bowie or someone talks about the idea of the role of a producer, and it should just be that they see your content and know that that's good, and so give them more money for that thing.
Yeah.
Would be the best thing that you could do.
Yeah. I mean, and I think I think that you just have to be ambitious and make those things happen. Like I should be knocking on people's doors and making phone calls and trying to get my stuff in front of people. So it probably is more of a result of me being just kind of like, oh, I'm just doing my thing, and I'm not, you know, maybe someone will see it and like it and tell me that I should make it into a show. Like that's you. I don't think I have that part of selling myself and
Is that something you want?
pushing
Or are you
forward.
like happy where you're
mean-
at? I mean, like,
Yeah, well, I that's the thing. Like I don't really know. Well, I'm unsure. Like I don't know what the experience of creating, you know, adapting something like that into a full-fledged show would entail. Like how would it change and stuff. But I guess that's kind of like wishy-washy. It's important to just like go for things. Like yes,
Well,
I
do
do
you
want that.
Do you have an overall like story arc happening on your channel, or are you just jumping on ideas that you think are good at the time, or do you have like a story arc for the Captain, Mr. Flare, and all the other characters?
it's a great question.
It's always like I'm always thinking of it like what would work for as like to echo what I'm going to explain or what's happening in the video or what's being talked about. But it's like over the years of like doing that, it's like automatically creating a mythology that's interesting for me to like start to connect the dots. Why is this like this? So I didn't intend to like, I didn't have some grand plan of like what's happening and who is the guy and who are, you know, but then it's coagulating into something. So that I like recently I started working on that, like kind of actually codifying what's happening and what's the origin of this and
Nice.
how is that.
That's exciting.
So that's kind of that. To be honest, like that part interests me more. Like I think that I would be more excited to do some kind of like narrative, like scripted thing with Captain D stuff rather than like host a show explaining VFX. But you can't really you can't really take the two apart, right? Like I think
I mean,
I don't know if like
Pee-wee's Big Adventure versus Pee-wee's Playhouse. I don't know why that's the first thing I think of, but like,
oh, that's true.
you know, that did take the character and take it from this, you know, third wall breaking educational show into a narrative format.
I should fully model my career.
Let's get Tim Burton on board here.
Fully model your career
Maybe
and
avoid
personal life.
certain movie playhouses.
There you go.
Oh my gosh! And yeah, I think and you mentioned the script several times, and I think that's something that a lot of people creating content, I think they might find their vlog or whatever in editing and can kind of narrate after the fact or do things like that. And there's a real disconnect between that and what you're doing, where the projects are all very clearly scripted, and I mean that they're organized, they make sense, they're paced nicely, and I think it's a very underrated part of why these videos are so good. When people will say, "Well, he does lots of graphics and stuff in them," but the content is so rich and refined. It's
Thank you. I think it's also the result. Like I think everyone's videos, like if you see good videos on YouTube or wherever, they are a result of the maker of that video going like utilizing their strengths and like hiding their weaknesses or something, you know, like, and that's what my doing that results in this. Like I'm not great at speaking off the cuff. Maybe this stream makes that clear. But yeah, so, and then I also don't want to I don't like not being sure of what I'm going to talk about and like find it in editing. And I also like storytelling and like being kind of cinematic about stuff. So, and that's how I learned to do things. I went to film school, we wrote little scripts, we planned them, we planned the shots.
Where'd you
and
go
so
to
I
film school?
just
Sorry, I'm just curious.
Not nowhere interesting. Okay. The film school I went to, I talk about it in one of my videos as a joke. It no longer exists. Like the name of that college is no longer the name of the college. It became one of the Art Institute like branches. But yeah, I went to a film school in downtown Miami, Florida, called International Fine Arts College. It's like a little fledgling film program. Yeah, so you know, I'm used to like writing the script, figuring out does the pace of that work? Is this, even though I'm just hosting straight to camera, I think of it as like short film type of thing. I most of the time I use like the screenplay, like I use Final Draft to write the script.
I love that.
Especially if,
the marble sorting machine is one of my favorite both performances and scripts of anything on the channel. I love the I love the story of the episode and the content of it.
It's really
beautiful.
fun to I should be having guest characters like just for like actual Captain D universe characters in my videos more. I should make more friends who could play characters in my videos instead of me. But yeah, that is always fun for me because it's like, you know, if you have someone to play off of and talk to, and Lauren's awesome, who plays Holly. We gotta have her in more episodes to catch her when she's in town. Yeah, I enjoy that. Making short films, huh? I shouldn't be doing a YouTube channel. That's my problem. That's
our goal over the course of this live stream is to just discourage you from all of your
from continuing,
guys,
from continuing your
giving
success.
up.
Finally,
here first.
No way, man.
Do you regret creating a costume that involves needing to paint your ears and neck every time? Kyle Hamrick, a friend of the show, was asking.
Sometimes, but you know what? I think of it as like putting on war paint. Like I do kind of the fact that has to be done, and that I'm not like to cut like. I want to say I'm not a performer at heart, but I'm always like struggling with being, you know, the character. Or a clown. My dad was a clown in the circus. Like although he didn't have crazy like clown makeup, but I feel like there's something I would watch my parents both like be performers and in the dressing room like put on makeup before performance and stuff. And I feel like there's something in that
I
ritual.
like to imagine them doing it before they like leave the house with a briefcase.
Yes.
On their, like in a suit and tie.
It would probably be more convenient. It's true. Yeah, but there's something about that I like, that it's like a delineation. Like, okay, I've been preparing, I've been setting up lights, I've been figuring out how to do this. But once I put this on, now I'm just being Captain D and I'm just thinking about getting the shots. And then I spend 30 minutes washing it off and making a giant mess.
Oh, amazing. But
Now, Hashi, your kids are fans of Captain D. Yes.
yes.
Is there a crossover episode planned?
Well, it's funny because I think I don't remember what got me binging Captain Disillusion videos. But there's an action movie. It's like called Viral Kid Stunts. I'm trying to find the one
That's
here.
how we first, like, that's the first time we had some kind of connection.
Yes, and what is so great, and I've shared this with everyone, is that you were so on point with both the trajectory of the channel and like my internal insecurities. That
So
was like,
embarrassing.
it's the thing. No, it's perfect. It's like,
Sorry.
oh my God, he said the thing that I know is happening, but other people don't know is happening. And
Well-
so, but also I
To be fair, I try to do that with my own channel and constantly point out the negative trends and things and my failings. Or at least I try to do that more.
You could even make a joke about a Flight of the Navigator video not being as
yeah.
on as you might have liked.
It's all about.
Is that how true? Was that half joke and half true, or is that all true and you just cried after you said that line?
No, yeah, half joke. I try not to. I kind of like now the way that my views are. I don't know if this sounds like annoying to people, but just with my channel, the amount of subscribers and the videos, how they do in general, when I see that it gets up to that 1 million views, I can relax. That sounds awful to say. Like, yeah,
No.
I just need the standard 1 million views, but that's kind of what the numbers end up being. So like I know that if it's under 1 million views, I did something is wrong. And if it's way over 1 million views, awesome. That's like a runaway success.
When did you do something
Right
wrong?
now.
And what did you do about it?
Nothing. It's just like,
No,
oh
never did-
gosh, I guess
You're-
I guess
never done
something
anything wrong.
about that. Yeah. Well, but I mean, with the Flight of the Navigator video, that's the longest episode of anything I've ever done on the channel, like as one video.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect it to do super huge numbers or anything. I just hoped that people, but I think that it did show that like people watch that longer than you would normally watch a video like that in terms of like watch time.
Mhm.
So I was happy with that, but of course it couldn't just like be this crazy hit in terms of views. But it then the reboot of Flight of the Navigator news came out, and that really gave my video a bump for,
Oh, really?
I guess, obvious reasons. So that actually worked out. But yeah, I don't know. I try to think that I don't care about views, but I do keep an
all
eye
do.
on if it's something does really terribly.
it's
Then I try to learn from it. I don't know.
it's really hard to have such an instant feedback loop in that way, because I think you've said something that is the way I feel a lot of the time, where I don't like to perform myself, but I do love to like hide behind one layer of it's my edit you're watching, and I'm very fascinated for you to watch the thing that I made. And now that you can get these instant metrics on whether they liked it or not, it is really hard not to grow my roots around these, like the instant feedback of comments or views or watch time or all these things that you maybe abstractly knew, like when I was a kid
All
making videos that played
Yeah.
in the assemblies or something.
All these things
Yeah.
that don't love you and never will.
Yeah.
And now there's the whole thing with like the whole like the culture of like adjusting, because there's the real-time feedback now. So you know, if you just tweak the name of your thing, if you tweak the thumbnail, and you can watch what works or doesn't almost by like natural selection method of, I don't know if this thumbnail is better, I'm just going to try it and see what the numbers are. I guess that's a useful thing, but my brain doesn't think that way. So like I don't not drawn to doing that. I just want to have a good idea of what's my video going to be called. I want to think of a cool thumbnail, and I want to use that. And like, I want, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I'd rather make my next video different in some way, you know, learn from the experience. But I'm not going to like, I don't want to game the system or whatever. Maybe that's misguided.
I think that it's very good to keep a healthy distance from overreacting to things like that. So I love that. Yeah, you're doing something that's very aligned with how you're doing something that you're clearly very passionate about, and that's, I think, the common thread of anyone who's successful on the platform is just they have a shareable enthusiasm. And yours happens to be communicated in the most frustratingly well-produced way.
Shareable enthusiasm. You just named the episode.
There was a suggestion.
Oh, that's awesome.
A suggestion from the chat, which is quite nice because Hashi did a tutorial recently where he sang. He did "Take on Me," including
Sing
the high
for us
note.
now.
No,
That's awesome. That
but
was
someone has suggested Captain D the musical. Have you considered doing that to try to boost numbers?
Yeah, you know, there's always the musical episode in any show. I did think of that. I think there was the software I make music in, typically, or have
Which
been.
he writes his own theme music, by the way.
Yeah, except his 80s music. My brother composes that.
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I used that.
That
I used
warmed
the
my
heck
heart,
out of
dude.
that.
That warmed my heart to hear
triune.
that stuff come out.
I mean, what else could I use for to fill 40 minutes of 80s nostalgia? Like, that's the only thing I could. I got all of the collections.
I'm being
Do you
invaded
know-
by
oh,
a
Sophia has arrived.
Hello. Hi.
Sophia
Well,
and
now
James.
the stars have arrived. We got to make
I
room.
don't know if I can make.
This is White Bear, and this is Gray Bear.
Nice to meet you, bears.
I was literally a baby.
They're really
yes.
big fans, and they really
Yes.
wanted to say hi.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
That's adorable. Hello. I look so giant next to you guys.
Just grab them.
Please compared to us.
Wait, take a step forward. Take a step forward.
I'll debunk you.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There we
Look
go,
at
and I
look
can be
at how
small.
many
No.
YouTube stars can we cram into it?
Did you
We
know
gotta
that
do.
Daddy
Mhm.
made a hurricane thingy, and it was really made of. It was modeled of Grandpa Eddie's donuts. They're cinnamon, and I like them a lot. They're yummy.
Wow. That's great. I did not know that.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Oh, I love that story about the hurricane donut. Hashi.
Hurricane Donut. That's
What is
yeah. That's
Hurricane
in our
Donut?
episode called no, that was in VFX and Chill. The Sky
Oh, Sky
Donuts.
Butthole?
Sky Butthole. I was waiting for you to say it.
Not with your,
I
wait for your
keep
kids
on,
to get a
I keep on
distance
trying
away.
to slip that into status reports, so my boss will have to read that at the
Read
meeting.
Sky Butthole.
But yeah, from the new Ghostbusters movie, which yeah, could be fun. Speaking of rebooting properties we grew
Speaking
up
of
with.
80s movies, and I just wanted, Alan, I don't know if you know this, tell me to shut up. The creative process behind that 80s pack. So Ben, my brother Ben, who composed all the music, he and I got a bunch of posters for 80s movies that neither of us had ever seen. Just got a whole Airtable full of them. And then I went through and wrote fake log lines for what I thought the movie was about. And then Ben wrote themes based on those log lines. And those are the tracks that you have in the pack. So each of
that's
those
so
tracks has their own like story to it and stuff.
Yeah, because they do have like evocative names. They're like, this can't just be thought of on the spot. That comes across. That's
Oh, man.
interesting.
And you used them so well. It made me so happy to hear those in there, dude.
I love them. Yeah, I you know, honestly, I didn't really know. I mean, I saw the name and I was like, these guys must be related.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
There's
I'm
not
glad
that
to
many Whirlies.
And the same last name and voice on. If you
Yes.
just hear disembodied voices.
I see.
Yeah, it's true.
Good to know. When's the next volume of that 80s stuff coming out? I want more. I
know,
want more
of that
options.
too.
Let's
doing-
brainstorm some titles right now for
Yeah,
80s
we
movies.
absolutely should. We that's my other podcast. The oh gosh, I had something I was going to ask you about, and I'm forgetting all my questions. So instead, I'm going to pause and say the word metal.
What is it about metal that makes it difficult to reproduce or add into a shot if it wasn't filmed there in the first place? I'm going to throw a softball at
Wait, is
Ellen
that like
here.
I'm having to answer this?
Yes,
Why am I the expert?
You are only.
I mean, I think to me, isn't it? I feel like the opposite. I feel like it's always the. I mean, when you're creating effects or trying to make a 3D model look cool or realistic, like you get a little bit more of that reflectivity in there, and it starts to, and you get the right HDRI or whatever, and it's like automatic realism, like a little spice that makes things look right. But yeah, I guess if you're trying to fake something in a situation where there's reflective surfaces, then it becomes a whole world of, pain. Because I mean, it's like it just adds so many layers of difficulty. Ooh, what's that?
That's
that slow creeped in so slowly.
that's my recording. Dad's working.
She
sign.
brought you the sign.
The sign's working.
Yes,
It's working.
You are not getting interrupted at all.
so it's back.
No, I see what you're saying though. Like if you get something, you make something metallic and get a decent enough reflection, it adds some really good realism to it. But it's tricky to get hair, skin, plants, stuff to look right.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all in the subtleties, isn't it? Like wait, do I have a thing to show? This is kind of dumb. If you want to look at it, on one of the episodes, let me see. I had this video where is this here? Yeah, like where I tried to imitate like redo this encounter with a jet fighter. There's like a video I saw online. So in order to do my funny version of it, I kind of like did like my own little, I'm in a cockpit of a plane encountering a jet. But I was trying to do this reflection kind of like the original guy in the original video had. I don't know wherever that is. That. So I was like, I mean, what's the simplest way to do that? And apparently I decided that I was recently looking through footage and I just filmed myself from above. Like I rigged the camera on the ceiling and I just did the whole scene so there's wherever the camera of the actual take is, it's just filming, it's a 2-camera thing so that I'm getting that. In retrospect, I guess it doesn't really make sense or is that obvious, but that's one way to deal with a reflection, I guess.
That's perfect. We talked about that on our latest episode of VFX Side Quest, how you can, and also a couple weeks ago on VFX and Chill, using a second perspective camera to use as a composited shadow.
And your mirror shot, yeah, that's a thing I always think about. But I never have done it. I don't
offsetting
think. Well, other than
cameras
this, I guess.
to do reflections and such. Yeah,
exactly. Like creating a mirror thing. Actually, I'm gonna work on a thing for a upcoming video. I'm gonna try to do one of those things where there's an array of cameras to do like a radial symmetry kind of thing.
Oh, cool!
I'm gonna experiment with that, but I don't know if it will work because I've never done it, and it will be an experiment.
I love reaching to find a new way to do something that you haven't tried before and like tangentially connecting it with what you do for a living. I feel like that's my constant state, is like, I really want to learn how to make Snapchat filters. If there was some mild professional reason, I could dive into it.
Yeah,
but,
I'm amazed. I feel like my brain doesn't work this way. Like I'll learn from tutorials, and I definitely try to not like copy a tutorial, but think of like what's my version of the thing. I'll do not the exact thing the instructor is showing, but just my own spin on it. But I have trouble like really thinking outside the box. And when I see like your stuff where you're just like, oh, did you know? Yeah, I knew how to do that thing. But did you know that you could use it to do this insane, completely other thing? I'm like, no, this is why you're you. This is why you're Hashi.
No, I did not know.
I can't do that. I can't figure that out.
Yeah, it's like while these synapses were forming, I just had After Effects open in front of me, so they're inseparable now. I can't.
Yeah, but then you have to edit it. Then you have to edit that screen capture later and figure out how to make narrative sense of all of your like digressions and false starts.
I remember when I told Aaron Rabinowitz that my hour-long episodes started with 40 hours of screen cap. He was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I was like just genuinely upset for me and my health. Like, what are you doing? This is reckless. It shouldn't be that. It was actually I think he was asking, hey, could we hand off your screen caps to an editor? And I was like, it's like 40 hours of stuff, but sure. And
oh wait, well you still have my screen, and we're talking about our own.
You gave us a
like,
perfect
imperfections. Oh yeah. That's follow me on these various platforms. Actually, that made me think, Seth. I had a similar. I've heard you talk about your like epiphany about shape layers and like getting to the whole thing. I had that similar thing recently too, where I for years like I've done all these things with masks, and then I was like, I'm gonna try. I did a few times like trying to get into shape layers and failing.
Like,
and
I'm gonna try not clicking the solid first. Yeah.
But then I was like, it went past that barrier where I'm like, I get it. Now it's an unlimited world of power. I can do anything. I love it. But I while we're on reflections and things, I wanted to show you an exclusive look of a thing I stumbled into. When I was a teenager, I was trying to do this short film in high school. Wait a minute, is this even? Am I going to find the shot?
Careful when he's showing us films from you in high school.
Yeah, don't use this footage for anything other than demonstration purposes. So it was all about like me and my TV production class friends having this special spaceship this is awesome. And it's just a stock model from Lightwave 3D. Like Lightwave came with like a bunch of models or whatever. Wait, how do I full screen this? And I'm sorry about these weird subtitles. I was like, I don't know why my new to English language brain thought that turbine hull was a way to describe like the jet, the jet sound. But anyway, the point is, sorry about that. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm like fast forwarding. Yeah, I just wanted to show this shot where I was like, I am so brilliant. I'm gonna have this ship fly by this river, and it's gonna have reflections. Isn't that the most amazing VFX you've ever seen? And like the fact that it's transparent and partly, and I couldn't figure out how to make that work. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's reflecting in the river, and it's almost like matching.
Can I tell you the shading on this thing, though?
14 years old.
Go back. The compositing on this thing is actually like. Look at the reflection in the water. Look at the darkness against the sky right there as it comes down. You knew what you were doing in high school.
I mean, I think it was just luck. Well, and I think I used a still of like not even a wraparound still, just like a still of this footage as the reflection map or something.
Listen,
but yeah, this
I
is my
still
first
do
little
that
baby
sometimes.
steps. What's that?
You want
You
Michael?
don't need a 360 image all the time. If you just need it to vaguely be right, it's fine. It works.
That is all I have ever used, except for my one Bill and Ted episode where I did use the VR rig from After Effects to do an actual wraparound with particular. But
that's better compositing than I see now from people at our age. Like, yeah, that's kudos, man.
That's me like making my first little baby steps as a teenager into the world of VFX, and that's where I continue to hover.
It's the most fun spot. Yes.
Well,
100%.
Doing them for fun for your own videos is way more fun than with a studio breathing down your neck and wanting you to crank out 2 more VFX shots than was originally on the schedule and blah blah.
I would
blah.
actually argue doing it in 360 or whatever that dimensions that size was of that DV cam footage that you had there is arguably more fun than doing it at the resolutions we're doing it now, because
That's true.
Then it was all about just like the energy and power of the and edit of the thing more than blah 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 blah. I'm just saying words now.
I agree with you. I've been holding out, and I've been doing everything just in 1080p, like filming everything and editing. Yeah. But now, then eventually, I was like, fine, I will shoot my things in 4K and UHD, and I can zoom in a little because I keep messing up my framing and stuff. But now, like I'm trying now because of the YouTube compression, I still edit in like deliver my final thing in 1080. But then do that upscaling to 4K so that it looks nicer on YouTube, and I feel dirty doing that. But I've started doing that with my most recent video.
You shouldn't feel dirty. A lot of feature films are done wholeheartedly at 1080, and they upscale them to deliver. So you are doing what the professionals in Hollywood do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. We always did stuff in 1920 by 816, I think, was the delivery for all DreamWorks movies at the time.
Oh, wow.
Like right to theater from.
That's insane. Man, Alan, everybody knows who you are, where they can find you. I don't have to ask you those questions. Plus, you gave us a screen for it earlier, which was wonderful. Yeah. But I got to say, dude, this was so much fun. And we are so grateful for you coming on our show. And you are welcome to come back any freaking time you want. You have the calendar link now, so you can literally schedule it whenever you want.
Yeah, I'll be like just putting myself on every week. What are you going to
shots, and we'll just spend these 2 hours working on shots for videos.
There's
and
an
then
idea.
It'll feel like behind the scenes, but it's it's
perfect.
It's working.
Symbiotic relationship. Okay.
Oh, and that would be great because our audience does really like watching work happen in After Effects, so that would be a perfect match.
Oh, they should have mentioned it.
Yeah, we would have done it. Anyway, man, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you guys so much. Oh, this was so much fun. I've never felt, I don't know how to describe my feeling of being on the stream, but it was a positive one, and it was like something I don't get to do. I don't get to talk in this mode and hang out like this on anything I've ever been a guest on. So thank you for making me feel so welcome.
Well, thank you
for gushing over my stuff. That really goes to
my head. We love
to
chill and talk about VFX. So we did it.
We did it. Well, everybody, I'm going to send you with one final thought, which is headphone warning.